What's up, guys? This is another crossover. I'm back with a new episode of What If Naruto joined the Avengers Part 3. And if you did enjoy the video, give this video a like, and if you new my channel and like more content, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more crossover fictions. Now let's begin this new video.
Field trip is the 9th chapter. The last time, I said you'd better not get me sick, Ava exclaimed, her voice congested.
Oh, sorry, Peter apologized, having just gotten over a cold on the way to S.H.I.E.L.D.
Ava shrieked at Peter, "Get him!" Naruto stepped aside as the others pursued the arachnid-themed hero.
She still looks good, Naruto remarked hastily, peering through Ava's skin-tight jeans at her ass.
Norman's penthouse, late at night. Before a piece of venom appeared on Harry's ear, he tossed and turned. He jerked awake from his slumber and panted before massaging the back of his head. Now. Morning at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. Naruto yawned while Midtown High School went on a field trip to the Metropolitan Museum, where Coulson was teaching them Nordic mythology while strolling around a Nordic stone. Naruto observed Peter, dressed in a pink button shirt, standing at the rear, away from the group, because he had a bad luck with field excursions other than the one where he obtained his powers. Pop. Naruto was jolted out of his reverie when an African-American girl popped her bubblegum after Coulson stopped talking about how Thor was now an Avenger rather than merely a legend.
Naruto turned to view the squad, which included Ava, who was dressed in a pink tunic over a black long-sleeved shirt and a brown belt, Sam, who was dressed in a faded orange shirt, and Danny, who was dressed in a green shirt.
Danny leaned out to touch the glass and began reading the script on the stone, prompting Naruto to rush over. "Danny, Dawn." A bright flash of light stopped him as a powerful cold wind pushed snow into the room. "Damn it. Don't go reading when legends have just been proven to be true," shouted Naruto before turning to face a very tall figure in front of him. He has blue skin and red eyes and is dressed in a loincloth with ice armor on his arms and ankles, wielding an ice club and a necklace with a stone and a jewel in it. This is a frost giant, a huge titan from the cold region of Jotunheim. "I should have stayed in bed today," Naruto muttered as the children wailed and Coulson helped them out. "You're up," he said to the masked heroes before bolting.
Naruto removed his shirt, then unsealed his costumed one from his wrist and put it on, along with his mask, before removing his pants, revealing that his costumed one was also on.
Others followed likewise, hiding behind pillars or other attractions before fleeing. White Tiger leapt on the giant's neck, but he was unfazed and hopped off, avoiding numerous strikes from the club. Tiger cried as he ran to the side, "Spidey, you're up." Spider-Man swung in. "We need to get Frosty to chill out," he cried, firing web into the eyes of the beast. As the others ran in, Nova used his beams. "Guys, teamwork," screamed Naruto before Nova flew to the big and collided with the wall, breaking a cabinet. Iron Fist was just standing there waiting for the right strike when Power Man grabbed the club and stopped it from hitting the martial artist. "Iron Fist, strike. The enemy won't wait for you to make your move. Power Man, use your strength offensively. You don't need to hold back this time," Naruto said as White Tiger was hit by an ice blast, throwing her to the opposite side of the room. "Tiger." The behemoth then launched two of his club's heroes flying into a pillar before freezing Spider-Man's webs. Rasengan, spiraling sphere. Naruto slams his Rasengan, spiraling sphere, onto the behemoth before hearing lightning snap. Crack. As a man flew down, the glass dome from the ceiling broke. He has long blonde hair and is tall and well built. He is dressed in Asgardian armor, which includes a black chestplate with 6 silver discs joined by a gold lining, silver lined in chainmail armor, a red cloak, and a wing-shaped helmet. Thor Odinson is an Asgardian warrior prince and thunder deity who arrived to Midgard and became a founding member of the Avengers. "Thor!" screamed Naruto as Thor turned to face him.
As Naruto's team approached, Thor called out, "Shinobi, stand back. Asgard is not the place for oddly dressed younglings."
"Did he just call us younglings?" White Tiger inquired as she approached. "And oddly dressed, Sam?" Spider-Man inquired of the feline-themed heroine. Thor then soared around attacking the huge before Naruto attacked with a massive Rasengan of his own. Spiraling sphere, just as Thor sends the behemoth through a wall with Mjolnir. "Fortune was merciful on you today, you could have been hurt," Thor stated as he approached the young heroes. "They can look after themselves, Thor, I am." Naruto was cut off by the Asgardian. "I'm sure they'll make excellent warriors someday, as will you. As will I. Dude, I helped form the Avengers." The team just stood there watching their commander argue with the Thunderer. Is he actually arguing with Thor? Thor disregarded his fellow blonde and went to the frost giant to inspect his necklace before grabbing for it. What's that you've got around your neck, giant? Thor, wait. Don't touch that, Spider-Man exclaimed as he swung over. Stand down, little one, the situation is under control, Thor remarked, touching the stone. And a green glow briefly blinded them before passing away. They then blinked as Thor was transformed into a frog while still wearing his armor and Mjolnir shrunk down. Thor? Oh, what the hell is this? Naruto said as he examined Thor's new looks. There is only one being in all the 9 realms capable of such bewitchment, Thor remarked quietly. The Wizard of Oz? Shrugged Spider-Man, my evil half-brother, Loki. They glanced at a tapestry depicting Thor, his father, and Loki on it before explaining that Loki has been attempting to steal the throne and govern the 9 worlds and has done everything possible to do so, while insulting Thor along the way. Trouble is approaching. I must return to Asgard, Thor stated as he turned around and skipped away.
I get it, you're mad at your brother. Okay, that was lame. They can't all be winners, Spider-Man shrugged. You are not in a position to exact revenge.
I am still Thor, the Thunderer. Loki will face my wrath. Thor came to a halt before devouring a fly. Sigh. Let us help, Naruto muttered, drawing the Asgardians' gaze back to him. No, Asgard is not for mortals, Thor answered, raising his hand.
Thor, you said Loki plans to conquer the 9 worlds. Is Earth one of those worlds? White Tiger inquired as he approached.
Oh, and there's the minor issue that you are a frog, Spider-Man said, causing Thor to groan. You are correct, Thor said as he spun Mjolnir and made a doorway. Thou art entering the realm of Asgard. Brace yourself for wonders beyond your wildest dreams. When they stepped in, it was night, and the city was coated in snow and ice, as were the people.
Asgard encased in ice. No, Loki has already taken control, Thor shouted as he walked forward.
And was encased in ice, as were the others before the frost giants emerged from the snow. Later, in the throne room, a man dressed in green and gold armor, a cloak, and a gold helmet with long horns threw Thor up and caught him. Loki Laufeyson is the god of mischief, Thor's half-brother, and Odin's adopted son. Loki then looked around to check if the others were under an ice dome. He flung the ball about, teasing the heroes for duping them into returning Thor and capturing Asgard while his father slept the Odin sleep. Iron Fist was seeking for a weak area to break the ice before looking to the throne, so Naruto remained silent. And then there are these. Do you have your own pets, Thor?
He did not just call us pets, exclaimed Tiger. This from the girl dressed as a cat, Nova pointed out, drawing Tiger's attention to him.
Found it, Iron Fist stated before he and Power Man smashed the ice to pieces. The heroes then combat the giants while Nova rescues Thor and recovers his hammer, but Loki is too powerful, and they are forced to flee through a portal created by a reluctant Thor. Naruto, Thor, and the rest of the team. The heroes landed in 3 feet of snow in the woods. What were we thinking? Running away from battle? Thor Odinson never. Oh, shut up. It's that attitude that got Loki this far. Stop acting like a spoiled prince and start thinking like a warrior. We're retreating to plan a strategy, Naruto stated as the others stood or sat. He then turned to face Tiger, then down, and swiftly turned his head. Are you cold, Tiger? Yeah, it is snow. Tiger paused, feeling something on her chest. Looking down, she let out an unusual squeak and hurriedly covered her chest.
I was holding my own, Nova exclaimed as Spider-Man yanked some sow off his shoulders.
You have just broken a fishbowl. Shinobi's words ring true, Thor replied, crossing his legs. Loki took advantage of my pride, my rushing into battle. I have doomed us all. No, you haven't. First, we must dispel the enchantment that surrounds you, Naruto replied before Nova snapped his fingers.
I've got it, Ava, kiss the frog. What, you kissed the frog?
That's not how it works, I've seen the movie. An idea? Thor interrupted the youthful heroes. Yes, the odds are long, but there may be someone Loki has overlooked who can help us tip the scales back in our favor. Nidavellir. They thereafter journeyed to Nidavellir, the Dwarven realm, and arrived at a cave. As they walked inside, they noticed the temperature rising and heard hammering. If we survive this, no one will believe us. Unless we bring back souvenirs, Spider Guy stated as he approached the end of the room, where a short guy was hammering a gold sword by a forge. He has a dwarven appearance, a beard, and a gruff demeanor. Eitri is the Dwarven king and the creator of Mjolnir. Master Dwarf, it is I, Thor, the Thunderer, son of Odin, the Alpha. Thor came to a halt as Eitri raised his hand in greeting. I knew the moment you walked in, Thor Odinson. I made your hammer, the greatest weapon in all of the 9 worlds, but do I get a thank you? No, you come only when you need something, he stated before continuing to pound. Do you want help? Forget about that arrogant prince stuff, Naruto told the Asgardian who hopped over and took his helmet.
I apologize. You deserve the highest respect, Master Dwarf. The Prince of Asgard should have given you that respect, and I am sorry. He stated, persuading Eitri to stop hammering and walk over.
What is this, humility? Well, if a prince can bow to a dwarf, perhaps there is still hope for Asgard, hope for you all, Eitri replied, turning to face the teenagers. What can a dwarf possibly do for you, Frog Prince? Odin's palace followed. Loki simply sighed as the heroes appeared in front of him.
All right, team, go. Use those new weapons to their full potential, Naruto cried, extending his arm, a little leather strap around his shoulder.
He then remembers Eitri arming the team to battle Loki. Each weapon makes advantage of its weakness as a strength. As she reached for the bow, White Tiger clutched a gold mystical bow that produced an energy string and arrow. This bow requires absolute concentration to fire, requiring you to block out all distractions and focus on the task at hand. You will find your aim straight and true. Tiger then shot an arrow at a giant, knocking him down. Nova swooped down on a giant with a gold halberd. This halberd is difficult to balance. A steady hand is required. Be patient, wait for the right moment, then unleash your power. He cuts a behemoth, sending him flying backwards towards the wall.
Iron Fist rushes over, brandishing a gold short sword.
There is no room for error. With this short sword, you must create your own opportunities, trust your instincts, and attack. Iron Fist slashed a giant's club and attacked him, knocking him to the ground. Power Man used a double-headed battle axe with a short handle. You hesitate to unleash your full power, you hold back in battle, use your power defensively. This axe is designed to attack.
Power Man charged the floor, producing a shock wave that knocked several giants to the ground.
Naruto reached behind him and drew an axe from a shaped holster. It is a two-handed war axe with 2 runes on the blade and beautiful gold on both the blade and the handle. 1. A.N. Consider a fully improved Leviathan axe from the God of War 2018 video game.
That axe, like you, has traveled through realms beyond our own, and has faced many trials before arriving here. Use it as naturally as you would any weapon from your world.
Naruto fought a giant by hurling an axe at his shoulder, causing the giant to scream in pain. Naruto raised his right hand to attack, only to have the axe fly back into his grasp with a blink. He then grinned and began to attack the others, while Spider-Man was not granted a weapon because he used his words as one. They then joined forces and defeated the remaining giants just as the door behind the throne opened, exposing a guy sleeping with an energy bubble surrounding him. He is larger and stronger than Thor. A green patch covers his right eye, and he's wearing full body armor. His hair and beard are both white. Odin Borson is the Asgardian god's king and the father of Thor and Loki. Then Spider-Man webbed it and dropped it in front of Loki. You broke the door. This is why we can't have nice things.
Stand aside, mortal, Loki exclaimed as Thor was knocked out.
As Spider-Man glanced at Loki, Naruto kept his distance for the time being, his axe covered in ice. Your words. You use them to protect yourself from an unkind world. Today, you must turn them into a weapon. Hey, Lugi. You want to take over the world like this? With your father asleep and Thor, your brother, as a frog? Everyone would say you didn't earn it. Loki sneered before reverting Thor to his former self. Did he really fall for that? Before Thor grabbed his sibling, Naruto had a thought. Loki dropped the amulet that changed Thor as Naruto smashed it with his axe. The trickster was duped. By a mortal? Loki inquired before Thor responded. He is not a mere mortal, he is the Spider-Man. Close enough, Spider-Man answered, shrugging.
Loki looked to Spider-Man as the giants fled. Stay on your guard, Spider-Man. For the rest of your useless life. Loki shouted before disappearing.
Later, on Earth, Thor returned everyone to the museum, but without their weapons. Till we meet again, friends, your names shall be sung in the halls of Valhalla. I'd settle for a t-shirt or those weapons, Spider-Man remarked, smiling at Thor. The dwarves will hold them until you need them again, too.
He then built a doorway through which a 2-headed goat emerged. However, a traditional Asgardian warrior reward may suffice.
Bah. How do we decide who gets it? Spider-Man inquired of the crew. All of yours. You get to keep it. Best field trip ever. Spider-Man exclaimed as he reached down to stroke one of the heads.
Chomp, only to have it bite him. Ow ow ow. The dwarves will keep them until you need them again, Thor remarked before opening a doorway with a two-headed goat walkout. However, a traditional Asgardian warrior reward may suffice.
Bah. How do we decide who gets it? Spider-Man inquired of the crew. All of yours. You get to keep it. Best field trip ever. Spider-Man exclaimed as he reached down to stroke one of the heads. Chomp. Only to have it bite him. Ow ow ow. Now. Times Square at night. Shinobi and Spider-Man observed people running around before turning their attention to a building where a man emerged with policemen assisting him in loading sacks of money into a van.
He's dressed in blue armor with a gold gauntlet, cape, and headgear.
Mesmero is a mutant supervillain with hypnotic powers. He is an ally of the X-Men. He then directed the civilians to attack the two while the heroes defended them. As Naruto was being forced to the bus, Spider-Man leapt on it. Let them go, says the author. Naruto heard a gruff voice call out before springing up to see a man standing at 5 feet 3 inches tall wearing a yellow suit with a dark crimson V on the shoulders to the waist. He's also wearing crimson trunks, a red cowl with a 5 o'clock shadow, red boots and gloves, and 3 metal claws protruding from between his knuckles. This is Wolverine, a mutant superhero and X-Men member. Wolverine, he didn't do it. Mesmero has arrived, thanks to the van. Wolverine ran up to Mesmero, shoved him against the vehicle, and pressed his left fist beneath the criminal's jaw, saying, "You have until the count of 3 to put them back, Mesmero." Who is this person? Spider-Man inquired, crouched on the van. He's a mutant with the power of mind control and can even swap people's minds, Naruto explained as he stood next to Wolverine. Snicked. Mesmero's right cheek sprouted 1 claw. 1. Snicked. 2. Another claw appeared near his left cheek. Would you like to see what happens on 3? It's excruciating. Okay. I let them go. Suddenly, Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. arrived and detained Mesmero before speaking with Wolverine, who was seated in the vehicle drinking a can of beer on the money. Logan, are you staying out of trouble? I'm trying. Until whatever happened, Wolverine replied, pointing to Spider-Man as Naruto stood behind Fury. You were going to murder him. Sometimes, you've got to go down to their level, kid, Wolverine murmured as he drank his beer, leaning on his knees. Down on their level? Spider-Man inquired before turning, unable to construct a sentence. You've rendered him speechless. Do you have any idea how long I've been trying to do that? Fury inquired of Wolverine, who rose and put his beer into a garbage can. Do you have something to say to me, punk? You're the most disgusting person I've ever met. You're young, Wolverine muttered as he walked away. He was going to kill people. Spider-Man came to a halt when Wolverine roared in his face. Midtown High School. Naruto put books away as the team, sans Ava, attempted to collect his or Peter's homework owing to their failure to complete theirs. No, you want to be like normal teens, so you do the work, Naruto remarked as Ava approached. See, he actually has integrity. Thanks, Ava, that's why you're my favorite, Naruto stated on his way to class. Later, the helicarrier of S.H.I.E.L.D. Shinobi and Fury stood outside Mesmero's cage after learning that he had switched Wolverine and Spider-Man's minds before coming in and lifting Mesmero up. Change them back. No, before the lights went out and the others heard screaming, Naruto smiled. When the lights came back on, they saw a shivering Mesmero on the floor as Spider-Man and Wolverine returned to their respective bodies. A week later, Naruto's residence. Before the doorbell rang, Naruto was eating breakfast and reading the news on a holographic screen about Spider-Man supposedly beating criminals to near death. Before replying, he noticed Mary Jane on his porch and asked, "No, Peter?" Bolted out of his house when I got to it. They walked to school, and when class began, Naruto noticed Peter talking to Harry, who was sweating and had bags under his eyes. You've got to believe me, Pete. I threw away the watch. Well, Harry did assume Spider-Man's build at first when starting, so maybe people think it's Pete instead, Naruto said before leaving. After school, Spider-Man and Shinobi followed Harry around town as he went to his father's job office, where they saw Venom, prompting Norman to have the two race over and leap through the window. Spider-Man webbed Venom, only for Venom to grab the webs and throw him into Naruto, cracking the wall. Venom then hits Norman out the window, causing Naruto to dive after the businessman, grabbing Norman by the ankle and diving to the building, skidding down several feet from the force of the fall. Naruto hurried back up to the office, only to find Spider-Man there as security stormed in, and Norman thanked Naruto for saving him before fleeing. Heli-carrier for the shield. The team sat in the meeting room, masks off, discussing Venom with Fury. Clearly, there is only one way to handle this. Venom must be eliminated. Right now, whatever it takes, Fury remarked before each trainee hero spoke up. Boss, you've got it. Just point us in the right direction. I'm going to blast that goo boy into next week. What about the person he's taken over? Are you going to blast them as well? Naruto inquired, his hands clenched together on the table. Do you know anything? Fury inquired of the ninja who had crossed his arms. I know who's in it, but they don't deserve to be on the SHIELD's hit list because they've been taken over, Naruto explained when he saw Peter about to open his lips. It'll be better for me to take this heat. You're a great leader. Allow me to go at him, Eva cried as she stood up and pointed at Naruto. Fury crossed his hands behind his back and remarked, not the response I was looking for. I'm sorry, but I don't answer to you. I'm merely here to groom these young men to become the future Avengers. Ooh. Given that I am the only person from my country here, I might even qualify for diplomatic immunity, Naruto responded, reclining back in his seat. If you're going to play this by withholding secrets from your own squad, so you're out of this mission. Oh no, time off for Natasha at the tower? I can't believe you do anything like that to me on my first offense. I mean, I'd have to see her twice a day in nothing but a towel. Just kill me now, Naruto remarked sarcastically before departing. Oscorp. Shinobi staked out the office building with Spider-Man, who ditched the team as well as webbing up the tunnels at the school, before chasing Venom to a lab where Norman was with two scientists before Venom grabbed Norman and threw him against a console, breaking it. The scientists eliminated Norman just as the team descended from above and attacked Venom. Stop. Naruto screamed out, Tiger wearing a gauntlet with claws, I am still your leader and an Avenger. There is an innocent person within that symbiote, and if you continue, you will harm them, so back off. But Fury had ordered us to, I don't mind. I work for S.H.I.E.L.D., not for them. And you are under my command even if I am not on this operation, so stand down, Naruto stated, directing Venom to flee. What exactly is going on? Why are you all here? Norman asked as he walked in, White Tiger tucking her gauntlet behind her back. Who asked you to step in? You must depart immediately. Alright, Norman. But just so you know, I'll inform S.H.I.E.L.D. of this so they can make sure everything is legal, so have a good day. Night at Midtown High. Crack. While the squad entered the detention room, Nova laid on a table, White Tiger sat on the one in front of him, legs crossed while Shinobi and Spider-Man sat by her, and Iron Fist and Power Man stood by the side. Okay, man, it's just the two of us. There will be no teachers, no Coulson, no Fury, Power Man declared from the far end of the table. No witnesses, Nova said as he followed Power Man. We are in a circle of trust, Iron Fist said as lightning struck again. Crack. You were guarding Venom. From us. Why? White Tiger shouted at Naruto, who had glanced at her after examining her legs out. I'm protecting the person inside, whom you've all forgotten. But we're the hero, I don't mind. I fought Hawkeye when the Avengers formed because he was brainwashed to aid Loki in his invasion. If it means saving the people, I'll take on the Avengers, S.H.I.E.L.D., the Fantastic Four, and the X-Men. But only if they're mind-controlled. Rogue and Storm are X-Men characters. Are they the most powerful? Power Man inquired of the ninja. No, they're the most desirable. Okay, there's Jean as well, but I believe she's engaged or married. Sigh. It's Harry Osborn who's trapped in Venom, Spider-Man stated as lightning struck the chamber, flashing it. Crack, crack, crack. The team nodded, and lightning snapped many times. Makes sense, Power Man replied, knowing Spider-Man didn't tell them Harry was Venom since he is his best buddy. Makes sense, is that it? There was even some dramatic lighting. You can see why we.
Yes, yes, yes. Best friend, moral quandary, blah, 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 Tiger muttered, leaning back on her hands.
It's not his fault he's in over his head. He is powerless to stop it. If we treat him the same as any other terrible guy. What are you all doing here at this hour of the night? Fury, who appeared as a hologram over the chalkboard, interrupted Spider-Man. Who called this meeting? And what exactly are you doing here? Fury inquired of Naruto, who sat with his legs on the desk. Late-night team bonding, training session. I'm teaching them how to combat Venom without endangering the one inside. Is there anything important you're leaving out? Are there any of you? Everyone fell silent at that point. Right, so you're all in on it now? Just keep in mind that the creature is still out there, so you're at threat level alpha. Fury out. Fury then cut off communications while Naruto peered around.
Thanks for not turning us in. Enough blubbering. Nova stood up. There's still stuff to do.
Aside from the fact that Harry Osborn is trapped inside of it, what else do we know about Venom? Come on, some information we can use here, Power Man urged. You mean, besides this? White Tiger rose up and clutched a claw-shaped glass vial containing a small amount of venom.
Let me at the chem lab for a bit and I'll whip up a anti-venom, that'll cure Harry, said Spider-Man.
Are you sure you can do that? Tiger inquired, her hand on her hip, pointing to Spider-Man. He's capable, Fist replied, his arms crossed behind his back. Remember, I made my web shooter remember. Mixture of simple chemical compounds. Isolate the hypothalamic protein, and there you have it, it's as simple as that. So, while you're pretending to be a professor, it's up to us to track down Venom? Power Man inquired. He might just find us, Naruto speculated as he examined the Venom sample. Naruto and the team proceeded down the hall as Spider-Man webbed to the chem lab to prepare the antidote. What is our first step? Tiger inquired, her gaze fixed on Naruto. Find Venom. He might want to exact revenge on Spider-Man and me for preventing him from pursuing his father, and he can probably track us down with the little Venom we have. Where has Spider-Man gone? The team looked up to see Venom approaching the door and entering. Found him, Naruto shouted before attacking Venom with attacks that would merely stun him and keep him at bay long enough for Spider-Man to manufacture the cure. Spider-Man then exited the building with a medical syringe pistol, chasing Venom down the hall.
Everyone else ran outside in the pouring rain to see Spider-Man flip Venom onto his back, then swung up to an antenna to web the antidote and pull it back to him. Venom then climbed up after the arachnid-themed hero and tried to grab Spider-Man, who jumped back down to the roof.
Crack. Lightning struck the symbiote, causing him to screech and tumble, causing Harry to pull out slightly. Help me. Venom covered the teen again, causing Nova to deploy his blast and hit Venom in the back, prompting Spider-Man to leap on his back and apply the antidote, after which Venom tossed the hero off of him and had Spider-Man drop to the others. Naruto looked up to see Venom disappear, leaving a frail Harry on the roof. The following day's hospital. Norman spoke to Harry before addressing them, as Shinobi and Spider-Man watched. You brought him in? Will he be okay? Spider-Man inquired from above. He'll be just fine. You may leave now because this is a family matter. The heroes walked out the window before Norman noticed and picked up a sample of Harry's blood. Hello, Venom. The laboratory of Dr. Octavius. I'm only going to ask this once, Octavius, Norman said as he approached the scientist. Were you aware of this? Did you know anything about Harry? Of course not, says the author. How could I possibly have known? Who knows more about your son than you? Well, in any case, I brought you something, Norman explained, holding up the blood sample. Regardless of Spider-Man and Shinobi's interference, see what you can do with this blood sample from my son. Octavius had one of his tentacles grab it and bring it to him. Oh, Norman, I will give it my undivided attention. Helicarrier for the SHIELD Shinobi observed as Spider-Man stopped the team's combat training with robots and thanked them for their assistance. No problem, Webhead. We're a team and you're friends, Power Man said. So no more secrets, deal? Tiger remarked, taking a step forward and pointing at Naruto and Spider-Man. Iron Fist clasped his hands together and stated, trust is the strongest bond. I know that now, and I couldn't have done it without you, except for the anti-venom. You guys don't know your beakers from your elbow, but other than that, you know. You smug little. Tiger was cut off by Power Man, and Nova turned on the robots, commanding them to assault Spider-Man for keeping a secret from them. Helicarrier for the SHIELD Shinobi observed as Spider-Man stopped the team's combat training with robots and thanked them for their assistance.
No problem, we're a team, and your friend's Webhead, Power Man remarked.
So no more secrets, deal? Tiger remarked, taking a step forward and pointing at Naruto and Spider-Man. Iron Fist clasped his hands together and stated, trust is the strongest bond. I know that now, and I couldn't have done it without you, except for the anti-venom. You guys don't know your beakers from your elbow, but other than that, you know. You smug little. Tiger was cut off by Power Man, and Nova turned on the robots, commanding them to assault Spider-Man for keeping a secret from them. Natasha drew Naruto aside as he watched him get clobbered. We have to talk, she said. Now. Morning in New York City. a tornado rips across the city before Shinobi and Spider-Man come on their bikes to save civilians from the automobiles. Finally, I was starting to wonder how much damage it took to lure out a hero-shaped punching bag. They noticed a man using an air tunnel to keep up with them. He's dressed in green armor. He wears a rocket-shaped helmet and has 2 saw blades hooked to his wrists. Hero? That's not a name I hear often, and now I'm going to feel bad taking you down, Whirlwind, Spider-Man exclaimed as they pursued. Spider-Man then uses his web to capture Whirlwind's helmet and knock him out before landing. There's still too much collateral damage, the hero said before Spider-Man puked in Whirlwind's helmet. Go to the helicarrier for training. No thanks, I've earned the weekend off, Spider-Man stated before handing Fury the helmet and riding away on his spider cycle. Later, there will be a helicarrier. Shinobi entered the main room and witnessed Spider-Man raging at Fury for spying on him with little cameras hidden throughout his home. Fury informs him that he signed a contract, which caused Spider-Man to disbelieve him, but Fury calls Nova, White Tiger, Iron Fist, and Power Man, who correct him by noting that it was also in their contracts. Spider-Man, irritated, returns his shield watch to Fury and departs for the weekend to relax. Later, in Med Bay, Shinobi examines Spider-Man without his mask, who was sleeping on a bed after being attacked by Dr. Octavius, also known as Dr. Octopus or Doc Ock, who kidnapped him and transported him to his underwater lab for investigation. Spider-Man was able to escape and summon assistance, only to discover that Doc Ock, as well as the majority of the items in the lab, had vanished after the lab flooded during the struggle. When Spider-Man is discovered by S.H.I.E.L.D., he is holding onto a claw from one of the tentacles. Peter apologizes to Fury and agrees to only have one security camera outside and delete the other film that was collected inside the house. Fury nodded and said he would erase the footage. Midtown High a few days later. As he awoke in class, Naruto yawned, and discovered he was the only one awake. Ava. He looked to his right and spotted the teen sleeping on her desk, as well as MJ. Hello. He cried, but no one awoke. Damn, I have to resist the urge to play a prank and figure out what the hell is going on. He stood up and headed out to the hall, where he discovered that everyone else who was outdoors in the hall was also sleeping. He had clones search the entire campus to see if anyone was awake. He eventually discovered that only Danny and Peter were still awake. Danny began to explain that something was wrong because he had to spend nearly all of his Kai to wake himself and Peter awake. They then changed into their hero costumes and rode their bikes around the city until they noticed that everyone was sleeping. On the route to Iron Fist's destination, he stated that something magical was keeping everyone asleep. Before Naruto spoke out, Spider-Man tried to explain it as science and that he doesn't believe in magic. It could be someone from another dimension where magic is real. Thor and the Asgardians are real and use magic. We live in a world where there are clones, mutants, and superpowers, so don't underestimate the impossible. Iron Fist spoke up as they rode above the city. We need the Sorcerer Supreme. Doctor Strange? Naruto inquired as he leapt over a building. Who? Spider-Man inquired, riding on a web behind Iron Fist. Dr. Stephen Strange, a former brilliant neurosurgeon, was in a car accident that crippled his hands, and while looking for a cure, he met someone who trained him to be the Sorcerer Supreme, Naruto recounted as they rode. Before Spider-Man spoke, they came to a halt in an abandoned warehouse between 2 apartment complexes. The most powerful wizard lives here? Take a step forward, Naruto urged as he walked forward. Before the door opened, a mansion with a great round window on the roof took the place of the warehouse. The 3 heroes entered to find items hanging on the walls or on a table near the walls. Spider-Man approached a little box, placed his hands on it, and it opened, revealing tentacles. Shut it. How about that? Naruto replied as they pulled the tentacles back in. Naruto then lifted the box and showed Spider-Man that it had a bottom. Ah. Naruto turned around to see a hand grasp Spider-Man from behind, showing a man with black hair that reaches his shoulders in his slicked back, a mustache and goatee, 2 round earrings, and a red vest over a white long-sleeved high-collared shirt, blue jeans, and leather shoes. Do not touch anything else, one crisis is enough, Strange told Spider-Man, who was jumping on the ceiling with his eyes open. Guh, Doctor, Spider-Man shouted as he plummeted. Strange, I suppose? You may refer to me as Sorcerer Supreme. Yes, Spider-Man, Iron Fist, Shinobi, Dr. Strange remarked, turning around. I'm impressed you're all still awake. Iron Fist bowed and said, Namaste, Doctor. I found Spider-Man just as he was about to fall under the spell. Strange waved his hand, and Spider-Man was engulfed by a green aura. That's different, Spider-Man stated. noticing his arm was flashing green, because he's uniquely connected to this reality by energies that would act as a beacon for someone with your sensitivities. Danny, you're fortunate to have spider sense, as you call it, Spider-Man. Is that similar to mind reading? What number am I thinking of right now? Spider-Man inquired, pointing to Strange. You're not thinking of a number, gentlemen. You're thinking of flapjacks, Strange said as he turned to walk away. We don't have much time. Strange entered a living room with a fireplace and waved his palm over a basin of water, causing it to shoot up into a pillar with an evil smile formed on it.
Strange stated that this was Nightmare, a monster from the dream dimension who feeds on nightmares, and that Nightmare escaped the dream dimension and induced an everlasting sleep in New York citizens in order to feed on their nightmares.
I can feel my nonsense tingling. I don't do magic, Spider-Man stated as he sat on a chair. Well, he's still a threat, everyone's sleeping, and we need to save them. The only way to do it is to defeat Nightmare, Naruto replied as Strange produced an amulet with an open eye on it. Agamotto's eye. With your eyes, you can see through the veil. He tossed the amulet across the room before hitting Strange, who changed into a cape with a high collar, a tight blue shirt with a light blue design on the chest, a flame-like design around his hands, and a red belt around his waist. Get yourself ready. We'll infiltrate the realm of dreams and put an end to Nightmare. Or else, humanity will perish, Strange remarked as a doorway opened up in front of them, revealing a universe of countless hallways and doors. They proceeded as Strange floated forward before Spider-Man entered a door that revealed White Tiger was in class and failing. She can't hear you, that's her dream self, Strange explained as Spider-Man approached the heroine. They kept running into Power Man's nightmare about preventing a tower from collapsing on his crew while slipping, while Nova was in a room full of white bunnies with pink eyes, showing his laporophobia. They walked out as Spider-Man conceded his magic isn't real argument, followed by a deep chuckle from behind him. Looking back, they saw Nightmare dressed in green riding a black horse and wielding a black blade with a hollow center. Oh, that's a scumbag. It's no surprise he's called Nightmare, Naruto stated, taking a stand. Naruto looked around and realized he was back in Konoha. You know, coming into my nightmare wasn't wise, Naruto murmured as everything went dark, and Nightmare saw two big, crimson, slitted eyes. Naruto then walked out the door to see a sickly Nightmare before hearing Strange say the spell was broken and finding themselves back in Stang's house where Nightmare was caught by the box Spider-Man had knocked open earlier and pulled in by the tentacles. Has he left for good? Spider-Man inquired as Strange picked up the box and noticed a small glass aperture through which Nightmare was trapped. No, nightmares will always exist, they are a part of who we are, but when we confront them, we can defeat them, and be stronger as a result. Thank you for teaching us that, Spider-Man. Have you ever had a nightmare where you need to go back to school before anyone discovers you're missing? Midtown High School. Naruto, Peter, and Danny are sleeping in the detention room, with Peter wearing a top hat. The others walk in, not knowing what transpired other than that Naruto and Peter had fallen asleep, before Sam runs to Peter with a marker. How do you spell doofus in reverse? He asked, before a rabbit popped out of Peter's hat. Ah, their eyes, he yelled as he ran out of the room. Sweet dreams, Peter said as he opened his eyes. Has he left for good? Spider-Man inquired as Strange picked up the box and noticed a small glass aperture through which Nightmare was trapped. No alleyways will have nightmares, it's a part of who we are, but when we confront them, we can defeat them, and be stronger as a result. Thank you for teaching us that, Spider-Man. Have you ever had a nightmare where you need to go back to school before anyone discovers you're missing? Midtown High School. Naruto, Peter, and Danny were sleeping in the detention room, with Peter wearing a top hat, when the others entered, not knowing what had happened other than that they had fallen asleep, until Sam raced to Peter with a marker. How do you spell doofus in reverse? He inquired before a rabbit emerged from Peter's heart. Ah, their eyes, he yelled as he ran out of the room. Sweet dreams, Peter said as he opened his eyes. Now. Morning at Midtown High. The science fair, yes. I can't emphasize enough how important this is, Coulson remarked as he stared into a beaker of green water. The winners advance to the state finals and eternal glory. Make a good plan. I'm dividing you into groups. Sam Alexander and Ava Ayala work well together. Naruto turned to see Ava, who was dressed in a pink tunic and a black top, groaned as Sam, who was sitting near her, awoke. Danny Rand and Harry Osborn, Peter Parker and Luke Cage, and Naruto Uzumaki and Mary Jane Watson, he finished as the others celebrated, minus Naruto and MJ. Do you have any suggestions for what we should do? Naruto inquired, his hands behind his head. No, but why don't we get together at my house and brainstorm? No thanks, you have way too much pink in your room. No, it does not, she retorted to her companion. The only things that aren't pink are the light bulbs in the mirror, Naruto answered, huffing. Later that day, Naruto and MJ brainstormed ideas in his kitchen before agreeing on one proposal for a laser-related project. They spent the next few weeks in Naruto's basement making two see-through green platforms before fine-tuning what they had.
A week later, Midtown High School gym. Naruto was strolling around looking at the different projects before seeing his teammates. Danny and Harry developed an X-ray camera. Ava clearly performed the majority of the work on hers and Sam's because it's a machine that can freeze carbon emissions. And he noticed Luke wandering around on an empty table.
I'm thinking Peter volunteered to do it himself. Naruto reflected on instances when he and Peter were partnered for a science class project and he generally took charge. He was about to leave when he noticed Peter run in to talk to Luke. What exactly is this? Naruto returned his gaze to see Coulson reviewing the projects before the fair began and proceeded to his and MJ's. Step back behind the line, Mary Jane urged as she walked behind their posts, which were set up 5 feet apart at his and MJ's table. As Sam approached, Naruto stepped behind the posts and picked up an apple. Naruto hurled the apple at Sam, who flinched as it was sliced into paper-thin slices. What is laser-induced plasma? Ava inquired as Naruto pressed a switch on one of the posts, revealing a rainbow wall between them. Yep. With the help of some magnetic confinement, ultra precision. 30 minutes later, Peter raced in with a rucksack, just as Ava's project sprung a leak, blasting Sam and freezing his hair. Before chatting to Luke, Peter pulled out a gray brick and both missed the brick grow a small body and jump off the table before eating some papers on the floor. It began eating anything on the floor and grew with each bite.
Ah, Naruto and the others glanced up to see that the brick had grown to 7 feet tall, was muscular, and had a mouth.
Holy crap! As everyone else frightened, Naruto yelled. It's known as the awesome android. As the android began consuming the tables and projects, Coulson explained to Peter and Luke that it was an extremely dangerous piece of equipment.
Amazing android, more like awesome Andy, Peter exclaimed as Andy devoured a gigantic Earth model.
Before Luke hurled a table at Andy, Coulson explained that Andy had the IQ of a 2-year-old kid. No, Andy ate the table and gained some weight. I'm sorry, I was just trying to help, Luke explained as Coulson returned his gaze. It feeds on inorganic matter to grow. The more it eats, the more it, hey. Andy then grabbed him and ate him. The others gazed at Andy, who appeared unwell, as a naked Coulson slid out of his left leg and covered himself with numerous enormous posters. Keep going, he shouted as Andy grew 2 stories tall and broke through the wall to the outside. And began eating vehicles, causing him to grow to tower over the buildings. Shinobi and the other costumed characters went out to observe Andy eating, and Naruto's eyes widened when he saw Andy stand up and go to the train lines. Move, team. Andy then crossed the tracks to stand in front of a train that was approaching him.
It'll be close, but... Spider-Man came to a halt as he extended his hands to utilize his webs, only to see nothing happen. Oh, right, forgot I'm out of webbing, he said before adding that he had been fighting the Juggernaut for a few days and had forgotten to manufacture extra webbing.
You're up, Nova, Power Man. Naruto cried as Nova seized Power Man and flew up towards the railway, dumping him. Power Man pushed against the rain as Nova flew alongside him to assist stop it, while Spider-Man and the others attracted Andy's attention by having the android walk to them just as the train halted at the missing part. Spider-Man, Naruto blinked before noticing a tall, strong man wearing an all-red clothing and a big dome-like helmet. Kane Marco, alias the Juggernaut, is a deadly criminal with incredible strength. The Juggernaut then went at the heroes, who leapt out of the way, and hit Andy, who became enraged and picked him up and ate him. He then emerged from Andy's foot naked, and was met by a Rasengan, spiraling sphere, that sent him flying into a steel beam of the tracks, knocking him unconscious. Well, that happened, Naruto replied as Andy became enraged and yelled as he stomped on an ice cream truck, causing his foot to shrink. Take a look at his foot, it had diminished. Something about the ice cream had an effect on his bulk. Does he dislike ice cream? Who does not enjoy ice cream? Spider-Man inquired as the others observed a leaky tank causing the ground to freeze. No, it's the ice-cold water from the tank. Coulson claims to be built of highly extensible chemicals. They must shrink when it's cold, Power Man observed as Naruto gazed at White Tiger.
Don't you have a project like that? I've got it, Spidey, you're with me, we've got to make something in the lab, Power Man said as he ran back to the gym.
Power Man raced over, grabbed Spider-Man, and flung high to Andy, who ate Spider-Man before he spewed up everything he ate and shrunk down to the size of a brick.
Later, Shield flew down and took Andy and Juggernaut away, while Coulson was wrapped in a blanket, and Naruto walked back to the school as both Power Man and Spider-Man walked aboard the aircraft to accept responsibility for removing Andy.
Several days later. 1. Shinobi was riding his bike through traffic when a group of men in black and blue flying armored suits flew in front of him, two holding a locker of jewelry. "Today's not my day," he said after stopping multiple robberies before seeing this group. One man turned and fired electricity from a gauntlet on his hand, causing Naruto to throw several shurikens, hitting their jetpacks and leaving only two, who were carrying the locker, flying over the parked cars, prompting Naruto to pull a wheel stand and jump in the air before flying his bike after the duo. Naruto saw a teen girl with short blue dyed hair dressed in a gray hat, sleeveless blouse, pink hand tape, gray jean short shorts, knee-high black socks, and gray tennis shoes ready to be hit by a falling sign. He fired the thrusters before seizing the girl and slamming her into the back seat. "Why, you rescued me? Of course, I say, that's my job." He then spotted the men walk into an alley and came to a halt, saying, "Wait here, I'll get them." "Would have been easier to drop the box," Naruto said before punching the man. "Okay, time to get to school." He trailed off walking back to his bike, which was missing. "Damn, she's got guts to steal an Avenger's bike," Naruto muttered as he ran up the wall. "I wonder if that happened to another hero?" Midtown High School. Naruto arched an eyebrow at the banner that had been placed atop the school. "Week of Crime Prevention, the universe is laughing at me right now." Naruto changed into his costume after school and had class projects about stopping crime before hearing a report on a bank being robbed, and when he arrived, he raised an eyebrow at a big robotic spider flown by two men in the same armor as previously heading away. "What the hell is going on?" Naruto made a clone and both leapt on the spider, got to the pilots, and pulled them out as the spider robot powered down. "A huge, sluggish robot?" he inquired before tying them up and departing on patrol. And passed by a man in an alley who was staring at him. Naruto spent the remainder of the day stopping minor crimes committed by teenagers and adults before calling it a day and going home to sleep.
Midtown High. The following day, Naruto approached Peter and MJ, who were sitting at the top of the bleachers to watch the football team practice, only for Flash to call out, claiming that someone had stolen all of the school's equipment.
"Crime prevention, my ass. I stopped pretty much every crime there is in the last 24 hours, even a handful of new ones," Naruto thought as he sat on MJ's left.
Is he really upset about this? Even the cheerleaders' pom-poms were stolen, MJ stated as he examined a piece of paper. "Oh, those demons." Naruto turned to face the cheerleaders, who were just sitting on the benches. Shinobi patrolled later that night before finding the girl who stole his bike riding his bike while wearing pink goggles. "Hey, pretty girl on a superhero bike. Return here." He hopped over and saw that the girl had gone into a warehouse before falling and seeing his bike, which he stepped into and up to before jumping back to avoid a whip.
"Who in the world are you three?" he inquired, looking up to see three men, one wearing a dress vest over a red buttoned shirt, black slacks, shoes, and gloves. "I'm Fancy Dan." The man next to me was dressed in a cowboy hat, a green leather duster coat, a white shirt, trousers, and cowboy boots. "You can call me Montana, my partner." The last man was strong, dressed in a yellow button-down shirt and cargo pants.
"I'm Ox." "All right, well." Naruto came to a halt before grabbing a foot as Dan attempted to kick him and flung him against Montana before ducking an Ox punch. Naruto then slid down to Ox and kicked his knees, knocking him down. "Hold on." Naruto turned around to see a man dressed in a brown suit, a black undershirt, a light blue tie, and a brown hat, as well as a black mask with white lines on the mouth.
"Shinobi, it has been a joy to meet you. I am Crime Master. You appear to be a bright young man. So you may have deduced that the recent outbreak of crimes was all my fault." "Nope. But I had a feeling it was someone's fault, so you're admitting fault?" "Crime Master replied before bringing the bike over. "This is my city now. And you, my lovely boy, either support me or oppose me. If you join me, you'll be one of my great players. I'll let you think about my offer," Crime Master said as he and the enforcers walked away. "Does he truly not know who I am?" Naruto inquired aloud before departing, seeing that the others had vanished. Midtown High. A few days later. Naruto walked inside after hearing a news report about a guardian security taking charge of the crimes. That crime master's probably in charge of that. Gets paid to stop the crime he starts and even keeps anything he'll say was lost, Naruto thought as the crime rate began to decrease and the security force taking credit for the last few crimes he stopped. Oof. MJ dashed into him, holding a tablet displaying the security, and apologized, "Sorry, didn't see you there." Naruto took the device. "Oh, I was there." Shinobi halted the burglary of the jewelry store before they arrived and arrested them after the struggle. "That wasn't mentioned in the report. Are you accusing me of lying?" Naruto inquired, raising his gaze to the reporter. "No, it's merely, Jameson is putting the spotlight on this team because he has his support on them over Spider-Man," Naruto remarked before seeing a school video of his alter ego being chosen the cutest hero by the girls. Shinobi later witnessed the enforcers obtaining protection money from a pawn shop before heading in and said, "Okay, guys, surrender now." Well, if it's not. Montana came to a halt as a bola wrapped around him, followed by 3 more around his arms and legs. Ox raced to Naruto, who jumped over the man, making him go outside, into 2 clones with Rasengans, spiraling spheres, and knocked him unconscious. "Hey. A weak one was enough to knock him unconscious," the clone said as Fancy Dan was sent out tied up. Naruto then fled as Guardian security arrived in vans. Naruto nodded his head as his vision turned back before a white sonar ring went out across the ship showing highlighted people in white. Nodding again, he turned his vision off before crawling on the rafters after dropping through a hole later that night.
He then observed Crime Master enter an office where an ad for Guardian Security, featuring the founder, a man with blonde hair and blue eyes, was playing.
Naruto noticed Crime Master begin to remove his mask before pressing a button on his watch and recording all he saw. Crime Master raised his head after removing his mask, showing that he is the founder of Guardian Security and devised a scheme to not only profit from crimes, but also to prevent them and let the criminals go for a piece of what they took, and uploading to every news outlet and police computer, and Naruto trailed off, and S.H.I.E.L.D. swarmed the ship, arresting everyone. Continue reading.
That's it for this part, guys. Thanks for listening to this video. I hope you did enjoy the pretty story, and if you did, like, share, and subscribe for more. And thank you all for helping support, and have a great day.